Oh, dude, I think the Uber's here. Yeah, it's here.
Right now?
Yeah.
Okay, see you guys. Are you still coming to hang out on Friday?
Oh yeah, of course.
Okay, cool. Wait, don't forget, we have to drive me to the airport on Saturday morning.
Oh yeah, of course.
Dude, we gotta go. This Uber's coming.
Okay. Oh, and the wedding on Saturday, don't forget to come.
Oh yeah, man, for sure.
Dude, this Uber's going.
Yeah. Oh, wait. And then one last thing. Can you just come with me on my Tinder date on Sunday, please?
I mean, that's a little weird, but of course, man, anything for you.
Yeah.
This Uber's right here.
Okay, wait. I just have to say, I have like a vasectomy on Monday, and you can come with me, right?
Yeah, of course.
Alright.
Dude, we gotta go. This Uber's like, he's yelling, dude.
See you at my grandma's permission.
Wouldn't miss it for the world. Uber for Seyran?
Buckle up and strap yourselves in. Women Do Meth is about to begin. The only podcast on the internet. This is a show you won't forget. Okay.
What up, YouTube? This is episode 6 of Women Do Meth. We're back. We're the only podcast, and we're back. So there hasn't been a single podcast for like 2 weeks, but now we're back, so there's another podcast.
So finally get a podcast.
Yeah.
Week.
Yeah.
Next couple weeks.
I'm David. None of us would be here without Cum.
I'm Tom, and I stand for egg rights.
I'm Sage, and I'd rather have 2 regular cocks than 1 monster cock.
Why?
Don't worry about it right now. We'll talk about it later on the podcast.
All right. Joining us today is our guest, Seyran, back for the second time.
Hey guys, I'm ready to adopt a child.
Cool. So, you just saw our first ever sketch opening to a podcast, and I hope
Let us know what you thought in the comments below.
Yeah, I hope.
Comments?
Yes, there are comments. So I hope it turned out well. It starred me, Tom, and Seyran, and Sage was our lowly cameraman, though I helped.
As per usual.
We don't pay him.
We don't pay anyone.
We don't, none of us, again.
Except for me.
There's no money in the podcast market.
Seyran and Evan are the only people getting paid in this podcast.
Speaking of Evan, he couldn't be here today. Yeah.
We had some crew members.
Right. Max is a different story. We're not as sad about Max.
I mean, I'm more of like content that his presence
Yeah,
is
honestly.
vacant from the premises. I mean, last episode that he was pretty much dead.
Yeah, dude.
so-
Let's roast Matt.
Why are we roasting
We
that?
can do a
Because he
Max
fell
roast.
asleep in the middle of
Did he
last
actually?
episode. Yeah.
Yeah, he
was
did.
falling asleep in the middle of the last episode.
Dude, just
And
let
dude,
him-
It's almost like he thinks that these are
literally-
boring.
He
this
shit
episode.
himself out. He shit himself out of hanging out with us today.
Yeah.
He did.
You know how lame that is?
He
dude?
literally could not stop shitting.
He literally, his asshole controls him more than himself. That is a low point for a man.
He rolled a fucking 2 on bowel control, and it was just game over.
His asshole is just like a fucking basketball hoop.
It's probably like and he's playing. It's Kobe against no team, and he's just slam dunking ball after ball, bro.
It's Kobe
Max has no
practicing
chance. There's no defense, dude.
It's Kobe practicing his layups.
Yeah.
That's-
No, actually, no.
that's
Max
Max's
is on the defense. He's just fucked. He can't,
No,
he
this
can't
is
stop
LeBron slam dunking that shit.
Oh man.
Every 30 seconds.
You
Yeah.
would think his body would be more used to like lactose by now because
think-
he eats so much fucking ice cream all the time.
You think he would buy not lactose ice cream?
No, that shit's okay. I had some like.
Sounds terrible.
I had some
Carrots
coconut
are
milk
gross,
ice
dude.
cream from Trader Joe's. That shit was whack. All right.
First of all,
You're whack.
you bought coconut ice cream.
Coconut milk ice cream. I want to try
That
it.
sounds
Oh
like
my God,
garbage.
that sounds like garbage, Sage.
It looked good.
It looked
No.
good, but it was bad, right?
Yeah, it wasn't. Well, it was like,
Because you bought coconut milk ice cream.
yeah. In retrospect,
All
maybe it was-
coconut products are garbage, Sage. You
Maybe
should
it
have
was a
realized
bit of a
that.
brass decision. All right. I'm not defending the fact that I did it. I'm just saying I can understand why Max doesn't because it tastes like sour yogurt.
No, non-coconut
Wait,
milk
Matt, so
flavors
Matt-
would
Well,
taste
what
better.
kind of
You can
so just
understand-
non-lactose like?
Wait,
That's
dude,
not
so,
what I said.
Wait, dude, so you can understand why Max wouldn't buy coconut milk ice cream?
That's my point, Tom. Take it or leave it. But
I'll take it,
All right.
cool.
because I probably wouldn't buy it either.
You
Yeah,
guys wanna hear
exactly.
A little story.
Sure,
So
that's a
when
good transition.
I was born, I was actually lactose intolerant, and when I drank milk, I would get my face would get red. But then eventually, my mom just wasn't so strict, and she kind of let me eat chocolate and stuff like that every now and then. And then I would just get less and less of a reaction, and then by the time I was around 2, I just wasn't allergic anymore. So I stopped drinking soy milk and went to regular milk, and I was chill.
That's really good.
I was also allergic to dogs. I would just sneeze around pets and dogs and stuff. And then after a while of not really seeing dogs, and then we got a dog, and then I was fine. So that was also pretty weird.
That's wild. Speaking of allergies, when I was 4, I was allergic to a particular brand of bubble bath called Mr. Bubble. And it was
Is it a specific ingredient or?
I don't know what it was. I was 4.
I just feel like
It-
Mr.
it-
Bubble's a very niche thing.
It was this bubble bath we bought at Walmart.
Why would
And sorry, I was in the South, okay?
Oh god.
You're allergic
So-
to bubble bath?
I'm allergic to.
I was
Walmart.
allergic to this one brand of bubble bath.
Did you try other brands?
I have
No.
since, and they're fine.
He tried this one. It gave him rashes, and then he committed. Just kept using it over and over. He
I'm
needed the bubbles.
I'm
I
used
thought
to it
maybe
now.
He gave up on bubble baths.
No,
Maybe.
I have a bubble bath every day.
Give up on bubble bath.
I have a bubble bath every single day of my life.
Is it okay that I use bubble baths in showers? It
No.
bubbles up the stream as it's coming down.
That's not
If
okay
you're
at all.
using bubble bath at all, then you're 18.
I use it on myself. It smells nice.
Oh, sick.
Do you?
Buy shampoo.
No, I mean of course not.
Okay.
Holy sh!
You gotta buy
That scared the
shampoo,
hell out of me.
dude. You gotta
We
buy
finally got a cat fight for the
Dude,
podcast.
it
Nice.
happens every night, guys. You really gotta chill.
No, it's just my
You need
phone.
to buy shampoo.
My phone vibrated as soon as the cats did that, so I thought I was getting some weird notification for some app I didn't notice I had. Talking Tomcat pissed off at me, dude.
Talking Tomcat back from the dead. Dude,
Were you gonna finish your dumbass story? by
I
the
was
way?
done.
Oh, that was it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Moral of the story:
All right.
don't buy Mr. Bubble.
Well, don't
Make
go
them go out of
The moral of the
business.
story is don't go to Walmart. Make them go out of business.
That's actually
Alright.
very fair.
All right.
Eat the rich.
Yeah. On the topic of allergic allergies and all that, I'm allergic to
Dick.
high quantities or high percentages of poison.
You're
if-
allergic to bullets.
Yeah, if I ingest poison, well, not exactly that. Two primary things poisonous toxic substances. If they enter my body for too long, it usually causes death for me. I
Usually?
learned that at a young
Guys,
age.
can we pause the podcast?
Yeah,
Yeah.
sure.
All right, so we're back. Tom, want to explain what happened?
Yeah, dude. Yeah, dude. There was so many cats, and they were all just it was crazy. There was so many cats, dude.
It was a battle royale of sorts.
It was crazy. It was just screams and claws and oh my god. And there's so many cats. There's so many cats. I also recently there's
That's it.
that's it. yeah. Yeah,
Alright.
I mean what do you want from me?
Just start again. But in a
What
more
do you-
natural way. I don't know.
Yeah, so this last week I was working on Hot Ones. This last week I've been working on Hot Ones and it's pretty good. Yeah, I don't know. It's pretty good, I guess. I don't know.
What's the concept of hottest ones? What's special?
Dude, I don't think this thing can hear you, but yeah, dude, it's like Hot Ones and we basically just do that. Except with the same sauce because we can't afford every single sauce.
Interview with hot sauce and chicken nuggets.
Yeah, it's kind of funny. I vomit a little bit in one of them, and
Yeah, the joke is basically it's a really
it's just kind of weird.
weird and it's so bad it's good kind of thing.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I don't know.
That's what
You've
we've been
probably
up to.
seen it, I guess, if you listen to
If
the
you're
podcast.
if you're on these kind of videos, then yeah.
Yeah, if you listen to the podcast, you probably already know. I don't know what else to say about it.
Did you want to do the 20 years?
Yeah, dude, I'm down.
Okay,
Where do you see yourself in 20 years?
Jinx?
Who's asking who?
Sage,
Just to,
Yeah, I
yeah,
see.
Sage is first.
Yeah.
I'm 38.
When you're 38, my boy.
I don't like to think about that, but best case scenario, I'm this generation's incarnate of Michael Vsauce. Not in video making, in the sense that I'm making educational videos, just that I'm YouTube dad, and I'm on the thumbnail of every meme video.
Okay, so in 20 years, you want to be
The
you
dad
want to
of
be the
YouTube.
dad of a company that's probably going to be out of business. by
In
then.
20 years?
Yeah.
Yeah,
How
I'm
old
gonna
is
just
YouTube?
in
10 years?
in 20 years, I hope to
Like-
crash and
like
burn.
13, yeah.
No, I have no fucking clue, dude. In all seriousness, I don't know. Doing what I do right now, but way better, and happy with a significant other, and with a stable job. Very base. I mean,
Holy-
Wink, wink.
what's going on, dude?
Pause.
Hmm?
Oh.
no, I'd have like, I mean, it would be a goal within 20 years for me to have Chloe's head like, as a nice like wall mount above like a fireplace. I think that'd be nice. I think that'd be pretty. That'd be like a dope kind of thing, you know, like a.
Max's gaping asshole as a wall now.
Yeah, yeah. I'd also mount Max's
We
gaping
finally cut
asshole.
Max in fucking half.
Yeah.
That's
Boy,
where
I-
I see myself in 18 years.
I see myself inside of Max, like as in like I skin him and I wear his skin, so I'd be in Max in 20 years.
That wouldn't be good. He doesn't have very good skin.
No?
No.
Well, I mean, what do you mean by that? I'm
He's the
curious.
driest skin, and you've seen it.
I guess yeah,
Max's
actually.
Skin?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's so
This is
dry.
just the roast Max episode.
Good.
All right.
Wait, are you on?
Yeah, we're on.
Yeah, we're on, buddy.
Oh, I'm saying
It's like,
it.
oh shit.
Wow, Max is gonna see this. Or
Here.
hear
Good.
this, and he's gonna cry. And
Good.
And he's gonna shit himself.
Probably.
That's a given.
Crying does proc his shitty tendencies, like literal like shitting tendencies.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got me.
So, to answer the question, in 20 years, I see myself.
39.
Yeah, I'd be 39 years old. Hopefully planning to kill myself, because living into your 40s, like, no thanks.
40s, I feel like is fine. 40s isn't that big of it. 50s is when it starts to hit you like a truck.
Oh,
40s
that's
is
that's
like-
true.
40s is like you have a bit of humanity left. 50s
It
is,
depends on
50s
how
is
good
like
your
you're
genetics
50s
are.
is like you're clearly becoming a skeleton now.
If you
Yeah.
like a 30-year-old
All
in
right,
your 40s, then
Fine. If I'm lucky, I live to 45 before it becomes too
Oh,
much.
Shit, a 45, dude.
Yeah, good joke.
Good meme that no one will get.
Yeah. So
But at 45, you're trapped into life because you have kids.
Well,
If you
fuck.
that are under 18.
That's what I kill the kids before I kill
You
myself.
have to wait till they're gone. You have to wait till they're 25.
why 25?
'Cause
I
that's
better
when-
get
that's-
started
that's
this
when-
year.
That's when they'll be like.
Are you
fully
saying that my
on.
dad's gonna kill himself once I hit 25?
I'm not saying it's not happening.
Fuck
Yeah.
you. Come on.
Wait, how many years will you? That'll be in 7 years, right? When
Yeah.
you're 25.
Yep.
Your dad will be like almost 70, I think.
He'd be an old boy.
Yeah, he would be an old boy, huh?
So, moral of the story: I need to get someone pregnant right now so that I can kill my kids when they're 25 when I'm 45.
Why though? I don't understand.
I just said it. It made perfect
The
sense.
grand scheme.
Okay, I'll go.
It's called The Greatest Plan.
A great deal.
I'm also
The great
19, so
compromise.
I would probably be
Oh
30.
my God.
Hello?
What is the 3/5?
Can we not bring that up? Please. Okay, anyways,
of your kid.
you can't kill 3/5 of your kid.
I
What
can
if-
kill 3/5 of his soul.
I can surely try.
What if my kid is special and he already has 3/5 missing?
He's already a slave.
You better cut this part out, buddy.
No, there's nothing wrong with saying it.
Alright.
That's what the compromise was.
Yeah, we're just
Yeah.
talking. We're just talking historic. Like we're going for historic accuracy here on Women Do Meth.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're not a very offensive podcast. I think we're.
I
Very
mean, we're
friendly.
the only podcast.
Yeah,
so like,
we're pretty
Yeah,
PG.
so-
All the in a
We
sense
are
of
the most
relativity.
offensive podcast in the
And the
least
least.
offensive
Yeah,
podcast.
we've
Yeah.
covered all the markets.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's kind of crazy. We are a capitalist war machine.
It's kind of crazy how no one's thought to make a podcast yet besides us.
It is actually.
Yeah, I'm
really
actually
mind-
really surprised that we're
considering
the first
technology is
podcast.
on the phone and
Yeah.
everything. Like we're
Yeah.
just doing it with our phones. Like no one's ever thought of.
Yeah,
recording
YouTube
it.
is free to upload to,
Yeah,
guys.
I don't-
Wake up, America.
Seriously, it's crazy that we're starting this trend right now in 2018
Yeah.
of people talking to a machine.
So, Seyran, where do
I
you see
mean-
yourself in 20 years?
When I'm like 39 or 40 or whatever, I'll probably be like, I'll probably be pretty normie, actually, not gonna lie. Like, I
I mean,
don't,
that's the goal by that age. You don't want to not be a normie. Life, if you're not, life would have passed you
Yeah,
by
I
years
mean-
ago.
I'm, just like fucking job and family and shit. Yeah, I don't think it'll be like anything crazy. I feel like I would have already done all the fun stuff by then. So like after like 39, 40, like into my 40s, it would be pretty like chill, just maybe boring. I don't know.
I think
Go
yeah.
take a road trip to like San Diego or like some city every now and then. Like maybe that's it. Or actually, I probably wouldn't live in America. Now that I think of it, because I've
That's
always
fair.
wanted to like move out of America once I get old enough.
Mhm.
And I don't know. I'd probably live in like Europe or like, Australia was pretty cool. I went last year and I thought like it would be a pretty cool place to live. Yeah, I mean honestly, honestly, it didn't even feel like that different to LA in a way. Like a lot of the cities there, because
Oh, yeah.
there's like big cities there too, but there's just like less people, so it's like less traffic. You can just like do most stuff that you can do here, like go to like cool restaurants, and there's like all kinds of different cultures and things like everywhere. Except there's just like less like waiting and lines involved, you know.
Restaurants.
It's like
It's
like
Is that a good
Australia's
thing?
It's pretty
a-
chill.
Australia's a very like
Yeah,
liberal
that was, like, the
country.
exception.
Like LA is a very liberal. Like
Yeah.
So they kind of these parallels.
But there's like parts of Australia that are different. Like
Oh yeah.
if you go
there's some
if
real
you go like
shitty
West
places.
Coast
Yeah.
or like
you don't want to go to Perth.
Perth. I mean, there's like funny shit that happens in Perth, but I don't know if you want to go there.
No, you don't want to go. You don't want to go to a lot of places in Australia.
Yeah, but like I went
But like the
to
Gold Coast and shit.
yeah, Gold Coast is
hell yeah,
awesome.
dude.
Gold Coast is like basically just
Yeah.
like LA kind of town. You know, it's like beach town.
California. It's-
Beach town.
It's basically the same.
Yeah. I mean, California is like the
It's
golden.
It's the
state.
It's the other. Yeah.
It's the other Gold Coast.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The sister,
I almost
the
went
sister
like-
coast.
I almost went like on some kind of accent there. The other instead of other.
The other.
Other.
Listen, boy.
I don't know. I don't know what accent.
How
that
about Canada?
Canada's all right, but like it's
It's
too
very
close
cold.
I think
to
it'd be a
America
nice
that
place to live.
I've never been. But
I mean, free
I've seen
healthcare is like pretty appealing.
Yeah,
Oh,
it's
yeah.
pretty.
Not gonna lie.
socialist, Pretty socialist. I mean, the dude is a
Should do
bit of a
yours.
dickhead. Yeah, dude, I'll do mine. In 20 years, how old will I be? 38.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I'll just be like chilling, like I don't know, probably doing nothing. Honestly, I have no idea. I can't imagine. I probably engineering maybe. I guess.
That sounds like pretty realistic.
Yeah, like probably just like doing math in my spare time, wanting to die constantly. I'd probably, I don't know, maybe have a kid, maybe 2 kids,
That's
maybe
good.
no kids.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Either one of those is pretty doable.
Maybe
I think my goals are also pretty realistic. Like in 20 years, Elon Musk will be my personal servant. Like Elon Musk will be wiping my ass in 2038. Okay.
I mean, it's believable.
I mean, I guarantee it. Like he's gonna lose his fortune
That's kind of fucked up.
betting on the ponies, and then I'm gonna buy Tesla.
Normally
Dude,
I'd
you
be
could,
okay with that, but he's gonna be like very old at that point. That's kind of fucked up.
He's gonna be like 65.
I know, but that's still like, I mean, you know, that man's goddamn, his brain is working overtime. He's gonna look like a wrinkly goddamn old raisin when he's up in his 60s, bro.
Even better.
Gonna be like an Alfred looking ass from the Batmans. You're gonna be having Alfred wipe your ass.
Yes.
Elon Musk.
Wouldn't you?
You got me. No, dude, I don't know.
I feel like Elon Musk would just like condescend the whole
Is
time.
it
Even if he was wiping your ass, he would still be condescending you.
Yeah.
is it not healthy to not envision the future? Because I feel like I don't.
No, I don't at all. I don't care. I think honestly, like, at this point in society, there's really no point in like in trying to.
Well, because you're very pessimistic
Trying to
about
control.
what's gonna happen.
Yeah, I think the world's gonna. I think I won't. I think none of us will be really around by that time. Honestly, in 20 years. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think the end of the world will be pretty goddamn near in 20 years. I can't really see it going any other way, unless the world has already ended. Maybe.
I don't know, but I feel like that's like, I feel like you could pick a moment from like most periods of time, and people are like, there's at least like some group of people that are like, I can't see anything else other than the world.
Yeah,
ending.
some
Like,
group of people, but how
I
big
mean, I'm not
do you
talking
think
even
the
about
group
like
is now?
extremists. I'm just talking about like people who deal with emotions and are like, you
Yeah,
know,
of course, dude.
where I feel like the world's heading. I mean, I do think, I'm not like denying that, like, I think this is a very contentious time in history right now.
This
but,
is like the most contentious time in human history ever.
yeah,
We have the ability to destroy like all of us.
yeah. I mean, well,
One person has that power
yeah.
at any second, and those people are insane. We put the most insane people, the most ridiculous people in those positions, and they're all just kind of fucking each other now.
Yeah.
Like Vladimir Putin is in control of Russia. Do you know how fucking bad that is?
It's pretty dope if you ask me, dude. That guy's super fit.
Dude, the world is absolute chaos.
Sage, blink really hard if Putin is like whispering in your ear through some sort of radio set, like some sort of wacky sitcom situation.
I don't know what you're talking about.
All right,
Also-
so for the listener, Sage is blinking really hard.
Dude, can we talk about can that be the topic? Can we talk about the end of the world?
We really have already done that.
Dude,
I feel like we've touched upon this. It was kind of depressing. It might have been the episode that
Yeah.
matches.
have we actually talked about it?
Yeah, no, it wasn't that. It was like the second episode. That was the second
Oh,
car
you're
one.
right.
Because think of an aspect of society and tell me how it's not going to fail in the next 50 years.
Cinema?
Cinema.
Sure.
Okay.
that's-
I wouldn't say that's that's not what I meant.
Some
I mean,
aspect.
cinema has already died as well, kind of a little bit.
How?
I mean, it's just reboots and remakes.
Infinity War is the best movie of the year, Tom.
Yeah, like seriously, we're at that point.
No, fucking Guillermo del Toro.
Dude, Shape of Water was beautiful, but there should be 20 Shapes of Water a month, not
Is that
20
what-
Infinity Wars
Is that
a month.
what was happening in the past? There was just fucking bang.
I mean, there
after
was
bang.
there was absolutely. I mean, like, you know, it's been a good while. Like, cinema hasn't been around for a very long time, so it's been a very short amount of time that it's been given. But it obviously, like,
I think right now it's been
descended very
it's
fast.
been very productized. Like it's been very
yeah, of course, because they
commercialized.
figured out how to use it.
Like a formula, yeah. But I mean, like, I don't think that devalidates the idea that it could come back as an art form in any way. Like,
No,
think
but
it's just-
I think the idea of it coming back would imply that capitalism itself would have to collapse,
I mean, why? I mean, in my
because
mind,
that's not going to happen.
I think we talked about this, but in my mind, like, the best case scenario in the future is that we don't have a capitalist society.
Of course.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I mean
fucking everything.
no, that's the only way like humanity's going to proceed.
Yeah.
Is we have to change, like we have to shift from capitalism to like a more socialist society.
Yeah, it's kind of shitty.
And like no, literally we are at the point in human civilization where it's like we're getting to such technological highs that now we actually have to like consider like communist ideals and shit, like universal salaries
Right.
and shit like that, like guaranteed jobs. Like that's stuff we're really talking about.
Yeah.
Like right now. I think we're all gonna die, dude. I'm so fucking paranoid.
I don't know. I mean,
Think
even-
about the robots, dude.
Yeah, but
Just throw water
For a
on 'em.
second. Dude,
I
they're
don't know.
waterproof, dude.
I don't know. Maybe I'm dumb for having a sort of a sense of blind optimism, but like, I don't know.
I don't
I'm
know.
just so neutral. Like, I don't think we're gonna make any significant progress in anything in
Yeah.
20 years.
Well, that's what I'm
I also
saying,
don't
like-
think the world will be that close to finishing.
I think the world.
Dude, are you
I
kidding
think-
me?
no.
You think in 20 years? Dude, we haven't even been alive for 20 years, and you know how much shit's changed since we were born?
Oof.
Think about that for a second.
Oh no.
We're talking
God.
20 more years, and that's not even our lives. That's our midlife crisis we're hitting.
40.
We are going to die. Dude, okay, this is how I know our society, like our generation is fucked. Because I don't think any generation before us was born with the mentality that like life is like every moment, like moment by moment. That's what cell phones have done. Okay, so most kids now today can't visualize the future. You know what I mean? Like I can't. You admitted yourself you can't.
Sure.
Like it's impossible to be
Right.
like, me in 20 years I'll have a kid. Most kids don't even think they want that now.
Right.
Most kids don't think that's achievable anymore.
Well, like, I mean, I think you can point to times where people are, like, living moment to moment. Well, I mean, I think there's a lot of, like, you know, like, not very civilized, like I'm talking pre-19th century, like, I mean, like, you know, before a lot of basic technologies and medicines and stuff. I mean, just living day to day was, like, how people lived because, like, you know, you didn't have fucking proper dental care, so you probably weren't going to live very long, and, like, you know, nobody...
No, but you didn't live day to day. You lived having to, like, having to sow all these seeds constantly around you in your life, and for them to pay off, like, in years, not, like, minutes. You know what I mean? Now it's like, I don't know, but you understand what I mean. Like, our there is this feeling, right? I'm not crazy. There is this feeling that our generation is like, it's like we're poisoned. Because, I mean, we are the least innocent generation. Every generation after us is going to be less innocent than us.
I don't think
At
it
our
has to
age.
snowball, but I think it's more than likely.
I think I mean, as long as the internet is, you know,
Well, as long as
keeps
as long
gaining relevancy.
No, as long as people parent their kids the same way they were parented, it's up
That's
to.
not going to happen.
What?
It's not going to happen.
What do you mean by that?
Literally,
I mean,
everyone wants to be a better and nicer parent to their kid than their
Yeah,
parents were.
and that's the thing. Like, it doesn't really matter in the end of the day, because, like, your parenting isn't gonna, you know, how you were parented isn't gonna change, like intense capitalist systems and shit like that.
I mean, I kind of think so, because I mean, the future of
You
society.
think parenting is gonna save kids from the internet and, like, shit like that?
Well, I think parenting is a big issue with. Okay, so here's the thing, right? Because kids, at least back in the day, you know, if we're talking about, like, epidemic in 20 years, everyone's dead, you know, our kids might not matter. What I'm saying is, like, when it comes to future generations and changing the way our government systems work, I think a big part of that is, like, is with how people's kids take, like, their life situations and how they deal with that. And the biggest way or explanation for why kids, I feel like, act certain ways is because of their parents, right? Most of the time, I feel like, at least in the U.S., I can't really say for other countries, but, like, if a kid is religious, I feel like 9 times out of 10, it's probably because their parent was religious and they put it on them. That can also be said, like, and agreed upon for their ideals. Like, even for someone like, I mean, I consider myself pretty open-minded and all that, but I'm pretty, like-minded to my father. I mean, not you know, one to one.
Yeah, I mean, we all, each of us are our fathers.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
that's undeniable. But I'm not, you know, I'm, like, I know that, like, I am way less innocent than my dad was when he was a kid.
That's probably
when he was
the
my
case,
age.
yeah.
I know that's a fact.
But,
And
like,
I know that there are a lot of kids that can sympathize with that fact.
So, like, if big problems in the government, which is a situation that's controlled by adults, you know, if there are big issues with the government, and in order to fix them, you know, and, like, you know, the people who are currently in positions of power don't want them to change, then what seems like the logical progression of time is that those people grow old and they die, and then other people take up positions of power, and so those other people would be the next generation of people. And so in order for the governments and the world to change, really as a general whole, is that the next generation needs to change. And I think the biggest way for that to change is for parents to stop having kids in the linear way that they do. You know, it's crazy. I mean,
So you're talking about the idea of managing to parent an entire generation so well that they govern the country perfectly.
I mean, I'm not saying
Again?
harvest a generation of children that is prepared to, like, take on and, like, become, like, presidents and governors and all that. But I'm saying like it's very obvious that the dumb, insignificant crap holds us back. Our prejudices and our ignorances and all that. I think it's a matter of education, because, like, you know, you can, you
It
know,
is a matter of education.
like, well, no,
but
I mean, like,
but okay, it's a matter. I mean,
because I feel like you know, if in the South, you know, kids are still being grown up and generally following the Republican side of things, or like, you know, the rightist kind of side, and the same can be said for like, you know, the leftists or whatever, like that's fine. Like it's not really about political ideas. I think it's more about like morals. I think like morality wise, like and like in educationally wise, like people need to be better informed in how they can change the world and why they should, and be motivated to do so.
I mean, people need to be better people, but the problem is we're developing into a society. I mean, right now, like
we live in a society.
Right now, as a society, like we're so fixated on addiction. Like we're all so we're all so debilitatingly addicted to like everything. It's really crazy.
Anything bad. It feels like anything bad is just
but it's not even. It's because we
not bad, but like labeled as bad.
I mean, but even stuff that's labeled as good is bad for us, but we're told it's good. Like everything is like the government. Everyone lies to you from the moment you're born, and everyone keeps lying, and no one like. Everyone's been lying for so many generations.
No,
just everything.
Just advertisements and businesses.
Just capitalism itself is innately like a liar's like.
Yeah.
Well, in order to get you to like buy something.
Yeah, because they basically have to convince you to buy their product.
And they have to convince you against any negative repercussions. They have to make the pros only seem like the only things.
Yeah, or like
So basically, you have to get people to know from an early age, or at least start teaching them from an early age, that you have to as a person, you have to like know right from wrong, and you have to actually like look into what you're doing.
But that's the thing,
and, like what you're
we're talking about it on like such an institutional level that no one can like escape this. Like it's so ingrained in our minds. Like it's insane to think how ingrained it is. Like even if your parents were to think they knew what was truly right and truly wrong, I guarantee they don't.
No, I mean actually.
Because they're still influenced by the capitalist system that they were born into.
You are correct. You can't really truly know what's right and wrong if you're just born into like that kind of world. Like, yeah, I mean everyone can be like kind or nice or whatever, but I mean like right and wrong as in like most things in the world aren't necessarily right or necessarily wrong. It all everything kind of depends.
Yeah.
So you just have to be like smart enough to just like use your brain and like know like, is this like right for me personally, and like am I doing like what I need to do to like achieve my goals?
But it's like
be like a good citizen.
But it's like but on that level, like we're talking about like college. It's like for us, like college is like that's the right decision. But if you think about it doesn't. I know, but I mean, if you think about it for anyone, really, it doesn't make any sense. Why would you waste all this money on pointless fucking classes that don't teach you anything? Just go look at some books and learn what you need to learn, and then apply to the job.
Well,
that's how it should work.
Because you don't have discipline.
No, that's not true. You go to college because the government needs money, and colleges want money. It's just money.
Well, it's like for
just
both,
money.
Though. It's for kind of for both, because there's a lot of people who think like, oh, I can just like self-teach myself like programming and like all this other stuff,
because
and then I can just you can. There are people that have done it, but like the majority of people try to do it, and they're like, okay, I'm not actually getting it because I'm just procrastinating all the time.
But that's the thing. That's happened to me too. But that's not a matter of like education. That's a matter of interest.
Well,
yeah, that's just you as a person. If you're not like motivated,
I would say like.
But if everyone did that, then the majority of people would just procrastinate. And then
no, I don't think that's true, because I think in a society where people are allowed to think like truly freely and do what they really want to do, they wouldn't like if we had a society where people weren't burdened with all these unnecessary fucking problems and shit that don't make any real sense, we would have a society that would be able to decide what they want to do and like what they care about and like what they're really passionate about. And if you have a passionate person, they can make so much more change than anyone else.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And it's
agree with that.
It's like
I just feel like
in the system
to get to that level though, like that would be really cool. But to get to that level of a society where you would have like starting from the current one that we're at now to that point,
It's not a cheap.
it's like you'd have to go through a lot of change and trauma to get
It
there.
would be the end of the world.
Yeah,
and then
almost.
restarted. Because we're talking about like
Yeah.
a pre-feudal like society. We're talking about like
Yeah.
Native Americans
Yeah.
existing. Like it's unachievable, but it's like goddamn, and we are only getting so much worse. Like as a
I
world.
was just gonna say like I mean I think like, you know, it's I don't know, I'm probably stating the obvious here, but like there is a necessity for college for some people because for some people
No, but
there's-
it's a made-up necessity. Do you understand
mean-
what I mean?
no
like-
I mean in this society sure, but I mean there are other countries who do college as well where, you know, the
No,
finances
but
aren't
they're still
nearly-
capitalist, and they still make money off of it. Like it's always a
I'm
money.
talking about literally like I don't know if it's like Sweden or like Switzerland, but literally like European countries where
The
like
government pays. It's
little-
public.
or yeah, or it's like
It's truly
free
public
colleges.
education.
That's
but
Sweden.
But that helps. That sure does help. But it's still influenced. It's
But,
still
okay, like-
completely influenced.
Okay, but not everybody learns by reading a book and then doing it on their own. Some people.
That's how everyone learns, dude. That's literally how everyone learns.
I don't
No,
think
but
that's true.
no,
I
he's
think-
trying to say like
Everyone
sometimes
learns by,
you
like-
don't really know like the most efficient way to like learn what you need to learn.
I'm
So
saying-
when you
That's
have like a
true.
teacher, it's like a mentor.
Yeah,
So
but
if
no,
everyone
that-
had a
no,
mentor, you'd be
that's
chill.
completely true, and I completely agree with that. But
You
all
don't
I'm
need
saying
college to
is
have a
college
mentor.
is not necessary for that. College is not the same thing as a mentor. A teacher isn't a mentor.
I mean,
like,
are you
If
saying
you
that?
can find like a mentor for what you want to do, then you're set.
but
I
in
think-
If he's, like, good
this
enough.
society, that doesn't matter. If you're like, yeah, this dude trained me, it's like, fuck off. You're trying to
I mean,
build
Yeah, because no one
SpaceX rockets.
respects no one respects
No one
anything
respects it
other
because
than a degree.
people only respect money because people
I
need
think-
money.
Yeah, because if they see that you had enough money to get this degree, then they're like, okay, well he has like some like
I
credibility.
think
or
it's.
whatever.
I think in its very basic sense, what the basis of college, you know, when colleges first came to be and existed. It's not like I've done any research on this, but I imagine that what it was like is that there's a bunch of people who are proficient in different types of, like, you know, proficiencies or things, and they are capable of teaching people.
Mhm.
And so people who maybe can't figure it out on their own, or maybe would just like the insight of someone else who perhaps is more intelligible on this concept than they are, they go to this person, and it's probably a much more one-to-one experience because there's now probably around, I mean, I don't know if it's hit 8 billion people.
I mean,
yet
yeah, it
on the
was
planet.
more like a library where you would go and you would talk to people, you would discuss, you would
Yeah.
gain information from
I think-
discussing, and
I
you would
think-
also like read and like gain knowledge yourself.
Colleges have definitely dissociated in a large way from what they used to be, but I think you still can derive
Colleges
that
used to be
same,
a privilege.
Yeah, and you can still derive that
Now
same
everyone can
essence.
pretty much go.
You can still derive that
It's
same
like-
essence from colleges, but it's very watered down by finances and by just, you know, population increases and everything that is reality in the modern era.
Yeah, I think
Oh,
it used to be like
I don't even think colleges give a like a satisfactory education now.
because
So it's like-
you have to go through so much general education.
Yeah, and
But general education is stuff that you're never gonna like use or care about
Dude,
most of the time anyway.
how many times have you heard?
I get being like, oh, like if you go to college, you have to be just like generally knowledgeable about like the world basically. So that's
you
why
don't, dude.
that's
you
why
don't.
like they make you take all these like different kinds of classes like political science and like the environment, blah
Yeah,
blah,
it's
and,
like
like
you
history
don't need to
or,
know that
or like
shit.
science, whatever. If you don't really need to learn that, then
all
it
so
really
goddamn
doesn't
made up.
matter because like most of the time you'll just figure out what you need to know for your life and you'll just live your life.
Exactly.
You don't need to know every single thing.
David's raising his hand.
Yeah, go ahead.
The best way I can describe how the college system is bad is how like it should be that people just pay for their books for their preferred trade and learn how to do that at their own pace because whoever like works harder to learn will get paid faster, like they'll enter the job market because they will have been trained, whereas the current system it's literally like pay to win, where whoever can pay for the best college based off of their previous family's wealth, which doesn't even make any sense.
It starts before that too. There's like some really rich kids who go to like academy high schools and they get like a way better education, or
No,
maybe
absolutely.
their high school just has like better credentials.
Yeah, pay to win based off of like
Your family.
random at luck previous family history.
Yeah.
That's all it is, and that doesn't even make sense for like
Yeah.
like
A lot of
like the
Ivy
idea
Leagues-
of capitalism, where it's like whoever works harder can do good. That's really the opposite.
Yeah, it's not really how it works. It's just.
It's just based off of privilege.
I mean, but it's not. It's also like privilege. Privilege is created less through hard work, and it's more like capitalism works in a way that it's so much less about hard work than it is about like fucking people over and like ruining people for your gain.
Right.
You are relative to other people.
Yeah, it's if you can use people and wring them out dry, you're gonna be successful in the world. Like that's why sociopaths are all CEOs and shit. like
That reminds me, it's like a mindset thing. That reminds me, I remember in senior year when I would see people like posting videos of like them getting into the university they wanted.
Yeah.
I always cringed so hard because for me
too.
personally, like, well, my family moved to America just so that I could like get like
Yeah.
a good
Yeah.
education and good opportunity.
Yeah, and any school is a
And,
great education in America. Like
Yeah, I personally, I feel like education here
compared
maybe
to, like, other
maybe
places.
education here isn't the best, like the education
But I mean,
itself,
compared to, like, other,
but like the credential of having education
exactly.
here
Yeah.
is like
Exactly.
highly rated.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And also I already know there's a lot of opportunity like for jobs and like that kind of stuff here, so that was nice. But when I would see like people saying like, oh my god, I can't believe I got into MIT, Stanford, Harvard, blah blah whatever, like why are you like filming that? First of all, second of all, you're making it
'Cause
seem
they
you're
wanna
making it seem
brag.
you're making it seem like they're like this elite level of like people who are like, oh, I'm
'cause they
so
feel-
happy that they accepted
It's
me.
because they feel like they
It's
are.
like I thought you're supposed to be the one who like values yourself, and you're like
yeah.
whichever college gets me, like they're the lucky
Exactly.
one. Like I'm not the lucky one because I got in
Yeah.
there.
That's how
Right.
it should be.
Instead of selling
'cause
yourself.
Exactly. You shouldn't be bidding to a college. The college should be bidding for you. Like
Yeah,
Yeah.
paying
exactly.
your money. You shouldn't be getting fucked out of like $50,000.
Yeah,
or
you're
something.
literally like,
You're
oh,
fucked
boy,
out of
I-
the first half of your life.
Yeah, literally.
That's
you are
true.
You're completely fucked out of the first half of your life, and it's not like it even matters because you still have to do like 5 years of job experience
Yeah.
before you can get a real paying job.
5
Literally,
years
life
of
is set up
internships.
to destroy you.
It's like, hey kid, hope you're rich and happy at 60 when you no longer have the energy
Yeah.
or youth or time to do these things.
Well, that's
castrated
why
by
there's
life.
Yeah.
there's so many people that always say stuff like, oh, just go travel while you're young.
Yeah.
Like, yeah,
That's why
that's
old
kind of
people-
bullshit because no one has money for
Yeah,
that.
no one can do
But
it.
at the same time, like,
why
if
just
you
fucking
did have
just
money
do
for it, then yeah, do it. Okay, that's
think-
actually a good idea if you have money. But if you don't, then you're just gonna eat
I
shit and
think,
die at 60. So
Yeah.
I think possibly a good statement about kind of all this is like capitalism promotes widespread competition, which is innately unfair because it's on the basis of like finances and money, whereas I feel like a
Well,
lot
it's
of
not
human
unfair.
I feel like a lot of human nature and where a lot of happiness is gained for a lot of people is based on cooperation and like in collaboration and just being within, feeling that you're a
Yeah.
part of a society and
It's like
accepted
kind of
in
being
some way, and
We live in a society.
even if it's like you're like Republican or something like that, and you're
it
like
just feels
I-
good to know you
like-
have your place.
like even if you're somebody who's like I don't like the government and I just want to keep to myself, like you probably still have your family, and that's still like more entities that you consider not immediately like yourself. I don't know. So like, it isn't like building up to. I don't know if you were like physically hinting towards anything. I wasn't really building up to anything past that. I'm just saying like, I really think our system is backwards in terms of happiness. I don't know. I mean, it's weird because like, you know, I think.
If you just
there-
think about it for one damn second,
Yeah,
everything's
because
so fucked up.
everything is very much like in the U.S. is very much like general ed. You know, everything is like everything in terms of how we deal with like how we
in Australia, right?
how we.
George
But-
told me that him and his girlfriend Laura are graduating in 3 years because they don't have like a year of GEs.
But
to
they
go
still
through.
have like G's in the sense
It's to
that
some
they have-
extent.
they have
But it's, like,
they have
much
classes
less
that
than-
don't matter.
They probably have
It's
less
a
than,
lot
yeah.
It's like a lot less.
It's a lot less than here. Here is ridiculous.
Dude,
What
they
I was gonna-
literally make you take
It's
a class from
it's-
every category, like every
it's-
discipline
I
of
know.
education.
It's insane, and it takes up more than half your fucking time in school.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
I mean,
crazy.
yeah, I think.
Thousands of dollars.
I know.
to
Yeah, I think
so much
campus leaders
so-
that will waste it.
so much wasted time as well. Think about how much time you've wasted taking a class that you know doesn't matter.
I think my
Photography, history.
I think a big thing is that like with a lot of I feel like how our government has tried to deal with like just large populations and trying to gather people, like herd people around, is like through gender identification and through race and through education and eventually through like the workforce and everything. It's like this huge system of categorization when in reality humans aren't just like like files that can be sorted into like a folder.
Yeah.
Like I mean I understand that
Everyone can,
with
specialize.
yeah, no, I mean I understand with billions of humans you can't like do like a face-to-face one-on-one like personalized experience for every human on the planet like that. The amount of because then you need certain people like who are guiding that person, and it's just a clustercluck of like just time like not working out. But like I definitely think it needs to be like respected and understood that like at the end of the day like we all have a limited amount of time on the planet,
Yeah.
and like
Don't take life too serious.
everyone's intention at the very least is to not get in the way of others' time. Enough so that they don't feel like they're wasting their time. And if you are intervening in someone else's time, hopefully it's in a positive manner. You're pushing them forward, if that makes any sense.
That just comes to like being the best you can be.
Yeah.
And it does actually make a difference because if you think about it, if you like influence or inspire someone even a little bit to like be a better person that day, then it can like sometimes cause like a chain reaction, and like and maybe you might not know it, but all of a sudden like 100 or 1,000 people are like doing that one nice thing, like, oh, you, I don't know, like help that old lady cross the street, and like someone saw you doing that, and like maybe they'll do that, or like pass that like kindness on forward, and that's all you can really hope for in this world, because like when you grow up and you learn like the reality of things, like how the world isn't really so nice and like everything is actually pretty shitty, you just have to make like the best of what you can.
Yeah, I think to an extent people do think like that, because I think the general understanding is just like in your life you live, you have actions that have consequences on the world, and generally if you're a normal person you'd like to have done good, like you want people to like you and to be like proud of yourself. So
That's like a normal human thing.
exactly. So there is to an extent that thinking, but I agree it needs to be more like on the nose, like specific.
I think a large part of it is the fact that the internet has come into existence. Like, it's made everyone so like individualistic and like not really like, and like almost afraid to help others, to be the first. Like I think the internet has really made like the bystander effect like super hardcore, because no one wants to be the one to like point that shit out and like
That is
make
true,
everyone
yeah.
pay attention, especially now because it's the internet. I don't know.
I think
You're just desensitized to everything.
And also there's like this
Dude,
huge
it's actually crazy because since the internet is like a global thing, it affects like everybody.
It literally
So-
affects
So
humanity.
most things in culture, wherever you go, every culture has like a slightly different stance on like everything,
Yeah.
right? But like when it comes to the bystander effect, it's like the
same
same everywhere.
It's the same everywhere.
Like if you just have like a homeless old person
yeah.
just like begging for money, anywhere you go, most people are just gonna walk past and
Yeah.
not give a single shit.
well,
If everyone who like walked like past that old lady just gave them like $1, then like let's say like 100 people walk past that old lady or old man or homeless person, whatever,
Would be fine.
would have $100, and like they would probably be able to like I don't know, get
but,
by for like a week with that or something.
even if they were getting paid like $25 a day, I'm sure they could find some place to stay.
Yeah, and I'm not saying like give money to every homeless person, because like people are
of course
just
not. I mean,
people are
we're
scared
born-
nowadays because you're scared of like reality. Like,
I mean,
the
dude.
reality is like a lot of homeless people might not even use that money for what you expect them to use it for.
Yeah.
They might just fucking buy drugs or do
Yeah.
something stupid with it.
I mean,
And everyone else is like struggling on their own.
the
anyway, so.
point like we live in the society we live in. We can't really change it. Like
Yeah.
That we aren't powerful. Like, everyone says like, oh, you've got the power, kid.
Uh-huh.
We don't. We mean
We
nothing.
don't have
Well,
shit.
and
Like our generation means nothing. We're just another fucking
Yeah,
cycle
so,
of human
well, I
beings.
mean, when you say it that way,
It's just we have to accept that.
Yeah,
we
that's
got
something that
fucked
we have
over
to
so
accept.
hard.
but I have like a question for that. Like going back to my original example, like, do you think it'd be better if like everybody was like, how should I say, like unconditionally kind, or like they like not unconditionally, but
So
like
like,
it, no matter like what that like homeless person, for example, whatever their background was, like no one would care, or you wouldn't ask. You would just be like, this person is like begging for money, so I'll just like give them if $1 or whatever. Do you think everyone should just be like that, like
I mean,
not
that's
judging their
different.
background?
That's generosity. That's different.
Or do you think it's better
Yeah,
if
well-
everyone just ignored the weak so that we could like be rid of them?
It's
or
not
something?
necessarily ignoring the weak. It's ignoring, because not everyone can give. So it's like ignoring the. It's like ignoring the like hurt, like the like. So if someone's like getting
guilt?
like, if someone's like getting yelled at, or like obviously like is in like some sort of like abusive relationship, and like I don't know, maybe the dude's like hitting the girl or some shit,
Okay.
and you see it and you do nothing. Most people would do nothing. Almost everyone would do nothing if they saw that just in like the corner on
If
a
they
street.
saw a guy hitting a girl,
Just like off in the side, like in a very public place.
I mean,
In a
I've
very
seen
public
like
place.
social experiments and shit. I don't know if they're real, but like where
I
they
know,
did
I
one.
know personally, I probably wouldn't go up. I don't think I would have the courage to go up
Yeah, I guess.
and say, "Hey, dude, you're doing the wrong thing." Because, dude, that guy could come at me. And
I don't
shit.
know. I feel like there's definitely people out there who would like show up to like save
No,
the
there,
day or
no,
whatever.
there definitely is, but
But
it's like
I-
it's very little.
I feel like it kind of depends on the situation, and like if it's like actually getting physical, then yeah, people might come in, or at least tell someone.
Anyway, it
I
doesn't
have
matter.
something. Kind of going back to the whole point about the internet. I think the internet has played a smaller part into what I think is sort of one of the bigger issues with like humanity as a whole, is that like throughout history, throughout all like the stories that we've heard about, like, I don't know, any society or anything, any civilization, any situation like that, I mean, there are always people that have, there's always one side of the story where they have, you know, a group has succeeded in their own right. So
History's written
with-
by the victors.
well, my point is that
No reason.
within every fight or conflict that has arisen within humanity, there has always been like, there's always somebody who succeeds in getting what they want. And so it's just, I don't know, it's just a matter of like,
Sometimes there is,
it's
like,
just-
ties
it's just
there.
a matter of on an individual level what people want and to what extent they care about the rest of humanity. Because I mean, if you're somebody in power who only cares about your immediate family, you're probably gonna fuck over everyone else in order to maintain the best case scenario for the rest of your family. So if you're born into a rich noble family and that's what the environment that you've been brought up in, you're probably not gonna change anything to help out the peasants below you. So I mean, like, I don't know. I feel like then one of the biggest issues is just the notion of just not self-preservation, because that's fine. I understand that on a basic animalistic level.
It's like impossible because people have to like step out of themselves and like view like the world from like a level of like norms and like why is this happening, not like just letting it happen to
Well,
you.
I almost feel like it's a snowball effect because, as I said, I feel like it's a generational and parental thing that kind of builds onto my main point, which is like, I feel like the people early on in early civilization who were the ones who rose to power, it was the biggest undertaking of most of humankind that they didn't realize that the way that they were governing their civilization and how they were going to parent their kids would affect leaders like, you know, throughout generations.
Mm-hmm.
So those who were initially in power and, you know, kept that generational power, like pretty much like created a sort of butterfly effect of like how governments treat their people, if that makes any fucking sense. I don't know. I think I might just be talking into like a hole here, but I'm just saying, like, I don't know, at the base of it, like, I feel like there's a combination of like general like understanding and desire for human wellness and, you know, the way like generations move forward and how how we as people teach the next generation on how to care for every human, you know, like going back to step
No,
one.
I kind of get what you mean. It just, like, pretty much what you say just goes to show, like, how far we've come and how far we haven't, like, gone yet, you know? Like, as a species in general, like, mankind has, like, a long way to go, I feel like. Like, a lot of change to go through. Like, we're definitely not perfect, obviously.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I feel like, I don't know, there's definitely, like, a lot of things that we can improve and, like, improve the quality of life just for everyone in general. It just feels like the way the world is now, it's only going to, like, get worse for some people and get better for others, you know?
Yeah.
It just feels like that gap between, like, the bottom and the top just gets, like, bigger and bigger every generation.
Yeah.
Or that's been, like, the recent trend. So, like, who knows? Maybe some, like, crazy big disaster might happen. But,
Yeah.
that's what I'm saying.
I don't know. Yeah, I mean, like,
I think the world's gonna
I don't know. I mean, I do think best case scenario, there has to be, like
end and then be reborn. Kind of
Well,
thing.
like not every human will die.
Not like
It'll be like
I feel
there
like
will
there's
be no
definitely
society anymore.
there's definitely potential for like some kind of crazy revolution.
I
yeah.
don't think it'll be a revolution.
I-
I think it'll be like
Well-
humanity is like a phoenix, like born from ash.
I do think
Wait,
that, like,
what could possibly happen then?
well, I
Nuclear war,
yeah, I do think, like, there needs to be
super intelligence.
I do think there needs to be a revelation within, like, the global powers, and I do think, based off of recent trends, it seems very obvious that it would just boil down to
Yeah,
firepower.
the global powers are the dumbasses of the
Yeah.
They think
No,
they
exactly.
know how shit works, but they
Yeah.
have no
Also,
idea.
the
but, like-
global powers, you mean like presidents and prime ministers,
But, like-
right? Because most of them are like pretty retarded and like.
And they don't have power.
And
Well,
I feel
I think-
like there's a lot of people behind the scenes who control.
I
them.
think at the end of the day,
Every
we
person with money
I think this boiling point that Tom is talking about, I think it might take another generation.
No.
I think there might
We'll see it.
I mean,
We will see it. I'm gonna say for a fact we will see something that is like catastrophic. Like
maybe.
like,
No, I mean, I'm
cataclysmic.
saying it would be in our lifetimes. I'm saying like the kids of Trump. I'm saying like immediate, like next case, like
So like my sister.
something like that. Yeah, like
Yeah,
not
I
not
mean,
not
we
not
see it.
yeah, no,
We
not
might-
far
we
off. I just
We
mean
might
like
we might not be
I
sent
just-
into a draft, but
I just mean the people who are in power right now. It might not be them, but it might be those immediately after them, and those immediately afterwards are like on the ball in terms of whether or not they pretty much are gonna fucking yeet the entire planet or
yeah,
not.
but like okay, so but politics doesn't even mean anything as well. Like that's the thing. Like politics has no effect on real like society and like what people do and everything.
Well, politics is it's all just
Politics
kind
is
of
all
a
just
construction,
metaphor,
yeah.
but It doesn't mean anything. Like Donald Trump being in office, that doesn't change the next like 4 years of humanity. Like he's just a stain on
there's still like influence on people and like what they think about their country.
barely. We're talking about fractions of percentages of people.
I don't know. I think at the end of the
Because,
day,
like, when people see like, oh, my president is like this dumbass.
Yeah, my president. What about people in India? They don't give a.
I mean,
Yeah,
I think
I'm saying like for America, America's a pretty
Yeah,
like.
but America's 300 million people.
No, it doesn't matter if we have less people than I'm saying America has like more power and influence. So if like a bunch of Americans are saying something, then the media is going to talk about it, and then that media has more power. Whereas if a bunch of like Indians talk about something,
Does the media do anything at the end of the day?
no, it just keeps influencing other people. It causes like a chain
It
reaction.
just causes people to talk to each other
Well,
about nothing.
I mean, I think that people do have power on an individual level. Like, I mean, I do think it would be next to impossible, the notion of people utilizing what power that they have to change the government in the way that they see it. But so I think that that's unlikely. I think the most likely and most positive scenario is that people on an individual level generally realize that despite the unlikelihood of being able to manipulate the government in the way that they would want, just finding a way to have like self-actualization and just enjoy oneself, and then I don't know, man. I mean, just positions of power somehow peacefully figuring this out. I mean, I don't know. That might just seem like
It's like getting into the
most
meaning
unlikely
of
shit on the
life,
deck.
kind of.
I mean, because that's kind of, for me, that's what this kind of all boils down to is like, I mean, if
What
we're
does
talking
life
about just
mean to
shit,
you?
I mean, if we're just talking about shit immediately ending, it's like, well then, what is the best case scenario for continuing or concluding what we know of as everything?
I mean, if like the world did go to shit and then was reborn, and like humans like survived and then like, you know, like rose back up and like some crazy stuff happened, like as you said, it's like one of those kind of like as you like the phoenix rising kind of things where if you like hit rock bottom, you can only go up from there.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, like good stuff would come from that, but then eventually you would just end up like in a similar position anyway.
You think it would just be an infinite, like a cycle of like humans
Well,
would just be
actually, that's too hard to tell.
I don't think so.
That's too hard to tell.
I honestly don't think. I think like it'll be like a. I think. I don't know. Maybe it's nearsighted.
in retrospect, I feel like we had a very goofy opening for this
Yeah,
topic.
we did. But you know.
That happens every time.
Just fucking women do math, I guess.
It's how we use comedy as a coping device.
Yeah. So basically,
It's
just do
actually
whatever
a
you want,
very
guys.
bold.
Just literally do whatever you
Yeah,
want.
nothing matters. Just give up. Government has its powers. Your powers.
Do whatever you
Do
like,
drugs.
because either way it'll
Fuck school,
suck.
fuck school. Do drugs.
At the end of the day, you're just an animal amongst a bunch of other animals
Just think
on a
about it.
planet that is just a speck of a universe.
You're just on a piece of dust. You're a monkey on a piece of dust that thinks about things that don't even matter to yourself. Like
I mean, yeah, but like for me, like I don't live in like the Milky Way. I live on planet
Wow.
Earth. So I mean that sounds
Hot take.
Shut the fuck up, dude. All I'm saying is like I mean I understand my place in relativity in the rest of the universe, but that's not how I live on a day-to-day basis. Like you need to understand like I mean we like whether or not you feel as if you know you were chosen as like the sperm inside of like you know in like that situation like you won whatever race or whatever like yeah or oh well whatever regardless of what however you think that however you think that your conscious was selected like it doesn't matter how or why. I think it's important to just realize like you are conscious and to your understanding you can manipulate the immediate things around you and you can go and do things that you want to do and like that's great.
Dude, as I
We
was saying,
talked about that kind of thing.
as I was saying
Yeah.
earlier, your reality is what you make it. You know
Yeah.
nothing but what you think. So anything around you isn't real. So the easiest way to get over the existential dread
Just the
of
monkey
capitalism
on a
is just dude,
speck of
you're
dust.
just you literally that color could not be the same. Like I could be seeing a different color from you guys and we wouldn't know.
But we could both call it the same thing, and we're
Exactly.
like, yeah,
Right.
it's pink, right? And
We don't know anything, dude.
Yeah.
we don't actually know anything at all.
When the correct answer would be it's salmon colored.
I mean,
Yeah.
technically, we could probably analyze, but even then, we're talking about like atoms and shit, and like that
Well,
doesn't.
dude,
what does
that's
that
just
mean,
our
really?
perspective,
Exactly,
like,
that's just what
that's
we
our
think is
perspective
reality. Because what if everything's just strings?
Let's like wrap it up.
What if everything's just vibration of strings in the 11th dimension? Everybody. Oh
Right.
no,
Yeah.
guys!
All right, so much to think about.
Much to think about.
Can we play the skit?
something else or just forget it?
We should play the skit now.
We'll put the bloopers now.
Yeah. Oh, nice. Yeah.
No,
that's
we
a good
don't
idea.
really need bloopers.
No,
do we?
we'll just play some.
The
funny
like
clips.
2 bad takes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
sure, whatever.
Okay, so okay, we're back.
Okay, so
We were talking about something.
wait, what?
Okay, David's fine. So, yeah, basically that's it for today, guys.
Yeah, dude.
That's it for this week's
Peace out, later.
Women Do Meth podcast. Thanks.
you.
There,
Thank you.
thanks for joining us in this
Thank you.
existential
This was a
topic.
really depressing
We'll have
podcast.
to title it like fucking
Don't
nowhere
watch
to
this
go
one.
up from like rock bottom. 'cause
Just
that's-
watch the first 5 minutes.